Hello, Cherries, and welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, episode 218. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the new jumbo frets that I just got on my Fender Broadcaster 70th anniversary reissue guitar. I had this guitar now for 2001, I believe, so it's been a few years now. But for the last 4 months, it's been in the shop. And the luthier, Matt, finally got to it and put jumbo frets on it and also shaved the back of the neck on it, which is really, really cool. And I'm so happy with this guitar. I really, literally can't stop playing it. It's just an amazing guitar now. Just in love with this guitar. Can't stop playing it. So I'm going to give you some of the details on it, some of the specs that I have here. And so check it out. So they're like 6100 type of frets, which are a jumbo, like probably the biggest jumbo frets that you can get. But they're not actually, they're a little slightly different. The model of the frets are C.A.G.E.D fret wire, and they're 57 110s. And before I get too much into it, I just want to say hello to my friend Robert here. Hello, Robert. Give you a round of applause. Thanks for hanging out with me here for a little bit on a Sunday. I got my my broadcaster, Telecaster, whatever you want to call it. I'm telecasting here from Brooklyn, New York. I'm actually broadcasting because it is a broadcaster. See, I'll show you a little closer up of the neck here, what it is. There it is right there. Let's lower this volume pot. You hear that little 60 cycle hum. There it is. It's a broadcaster, Fender Broadcaster. Jumbo frets. I don't know if you could see how jumbo they are from here, but take a look at that. You see any of that? That heights that I have here? I mean, they're jumbo. They are big frets, and they feel good. I mean, they feel really, really, really good. Jeffrey Boyle, Scott Olson. How is it going? Give you guys a round of applause. Should think about that for my Tele. Yeah? Jeffrey Boyle. All you guys, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, it's this is something I've been thinking about for a while. While I sip on my last bit of coffee right here. And what are you drinking out there? I know it's beer o'clock somewhere. But I finally got the new frets on the Tele. And the reason why is because I bought this in 2021. Late 2020, or maybe 2021. And, you know, first of all, I was looking for a Tele like this for a while. For a couple of years, I wanted the traditional butterscotch-looking kind of color, you know, the classic Tele thing. I know I wanted single coils because I wanted that true single coil sound. Unlike my Strat, where I put in hum canceling pickups because that's my working guitar. You know, I need lots of different tones, from metal tones to clean. So I wound up switching the pickups. So this was really like my only true single coil guitar. And I was really getting into the sound from guitar players that play Teles, like local guy here named Jim Campolongo. Such an amazing guitar player, Jim Campolongo. Plays a Tele similar to this, and just probably one of the best guitar players on the planet. His tone is so good. It's just a Tele right into a Princeton, cranked all the way up, and uses his volume knob for that. And I was inspired by that, and got this Tele. Finny, I bought the 70th anniversary Strat in Amherst. Unreal quality, love it. That's really, really cool. And what is that? That's the color, Amherst. But it's not really a butterscotch. It's a certain color. I'll tell you. Actually, I have a graph right here. We'll run through some of these specs real quick because I do have a graph. I'm somewhat prepared here. This is what this Tele is. It's an ash body, blonde lacquer finish, 3-saddle vintage style strings, through body, saddles, dual fender custom, shop design, hand wound, 51 Blackguard pickups, so true single coils in there. The controls are wired standard Telecaster operation, while in operation original Broadcaster kit came with this guitar. I didn't install that kit. It replicates the unique blend circuit used in the original Broadcaster, which I don't really have. I mean, I have the piece, but I didn't put it in. Don't really care for it too much. And it's a 1-ply black period correct phenolic pickguard, and it's a U-shaped maple neck, 7.25 radius fingerboard, 21 vintage tall frets. Okay, so they call it vintage tall frets is what came with it. If they call those tall, I don't know what tall is. And a Fender Vintage Tuners special anniversary custom neck plates, which the neck plates would be, what's the neck plate on this thing? Oh, probably the back, right here, back of the neck plate. So yeah, those are some of the specs right there, which is really, really cool. So that's the way it came. But I just wanted the guitar. I plugged it in, the store was closing, and I played it for like 10 minutes. And I fell in love with it, but I knew that the frets were a little bit small, and I liked bigger frets on it. Another thing I realized is that there's a lot of lacquer on the back of the fretboard, and I didn't really care for that all that much. But I kind of live with it, and it sat here for a few years, and I played it. You guys seen it? I've played it a lot. But I really wanted to. And what really inspired me, before I tell you that, let me just check out. I got a couple of chats in the comments here I want to look at. But I'm going to tell you in a second the reason why I went ahead and went through with the fret job and the neck sanding. Here is, let's see, Robert. So, can you please explain the suspended triad and perfect fifth along with the triad? Sorry, I'm dumb and slow. No, I'm dumb and slow. But I will get to that. Let me finish first talking about the Strat, and we'll get to that for sure. Because usually we do like theory and playing lessons, but today's a little different. We're talking about the Strat. I mean, not the Strat, the Tele here. I'll get right back to you on that one, Robert, for sure. Don't let me forget, in case I do. Purple Sparkle. So that's what the Amherst is. Purple Sparkle. Cool. Nice. And, all right. Good boy. 10 minutes, Okay. All right. So basically, I went ahead and, if you ever go into some of these guitar stores and they have vintage sections, well, in Guitar Center on 14th Street in New York City, Union Square, there's a back room where they have all the really nice expensive guitars for like $4,000 or $5,000. It's like kind of crazy. But they have some nice Sir section. They have a whole like Tele section, old Strats, Gibsons, whatever you want. But the real high end ones they keep in there, And but they had like 2 or 3. I haven't seen the one that I loved in there recently. I must have sold it, but it was like $4 or $5 grand. And essentially, it was the same exact guitar as this. I paid $2,000 for this, and in 2021, at the time, that was the most expensive guitar I had ever bought. $2 grand. I've had like $1,000, $1,400 guitars. Like my Strat was $1,300, and that was discounted. But at the time, this was the most expensive guitar. I later on bought my Les Paul, my gold top. That was almost $3 grand right there. But what's next? That's it, right? But this one at the time was $2 grand. But you'd go into some of these high-end boutique or these high-end stores, and I saw a guitar very similar to this, and it was like $4 or $5 grand. But really, besides it being an original, older, maybe 50s style guitar, maybe it was even a reissue. I don't even know. But the only difference is that it had jumbo frets on it, so it probably had a fret job on there, and it had a sanded neck, so all the lacquer was off. So when you'd feel it, it just felt really easy to play, really easy, and it had that look to it too. It had that worn out looking fretboard. You know what I mean? Like, you ever see those where it's like you got the finger grooves in there where they're like just kind of rubbed out right there, you know? Hey, this is a family show. You have these frets right there where it's, you know, it just got to have like the finger marks in there, right? So, you know, and I fell in love with it. I wasn't going to spend like $4,000. I mean, I thought about trading mine in for this other one that was at Rudy's on in Soho. Had a beautiful Tele there. As a matter of fact, that's another one that I fell in love with. It was sitting there for a while, and I think they finally sold it. But the only thing that was different was the neck was sanded and the frets were jumbo. And I'm like, why don't I just get, you know, work with what I have and get a fret job on here, sand the neck, and I can make this $2,000 guitar feel and play just like the $4,000 guitar, $5,000 guitar. Or I could buy a new neck, save the original neck on here, and just pop a neck on there with with the same specs that I like, you know, the big frets, shaved neck. But anyway, I was just like, you know what, just do it. So I wound up going to 30th Street Guitars, which is on 27th Street, now by the way. And the luthier there name's Matt, and he's a great guy. He's been setting up my guitars for a long time. And, you know, he did a fantastic job. See, the only thing is, it sat in there since late October. So you got October, November, December, January, February. So no knock on him. I mean, you know, he's busy with quick turnaround stuff, and I understand. I didn't need it, really. I have my Strat, my Les Paul, and everything, so I waited patiently. I did go in there like at least once a week and bribe him with like some pastries that I pick up from Chinatown, you know, like a cranberry, walnuts, bread thing that is just fantastic. And because he said every time I ask him about my guitar and when it's going to be done, adds another week to the wait. So so I learned my lesson. I just shut up. I brought him treats. Next thing you know, he calls me up last week. I'm on a plane. I'm getting ready to get on a plane from Minnesota, coming home, which was, when was that? That was on Sunday, right? Because last time I did the live was Monday. So he says, the guitar's done, come in. So I couldn't pick it up because I was flying home. But the next day, after my live, if you remember last week, I shot right over there, played the guitar, and was really happy with it. And really plays so nice and smooth. You know, you don't have to be like a country player to like appreciate the twang of a Tele, you know. That's how bright that is. Hopefully I'm not ripping your face off here. Really bright. Really nice on the bridge pickup there. So really cool. But here's the kicker. This part of the story. It's the best part of the story. When I gave this to Matt, and no knock on Matt, I love him. He's the best in the world. I said, hey, just put the jumbo frets on there, the biggest ones you have, and shave the back of the neck. I want it smooth. I don't want to feel any sticky lacquer back there. Because originally, he did shave a little bit off when I first bought the guitar, but it wasn't really a lot. He believes in doing things like slowly and incrementally, you know. So he took a little bit off at first. I said, just take it more off. Take it all off. Give me the frets. So a little bit later in the store, he goes, hey, you know what? While I have the frets off, do you want me to just like sand all the lacquer off the fretboard? It'll take all the lacquer off, kind of like that Eddie Van Halen guitar over there. Check that one out, see how you like it. I knew that a lot of Eddie's guitars had no lacquer on the neck, front or back, because I had a Wolfgang at one time. So I picked up the guitar, and it feels great. I mean, totally raw wood, really small, really smooth, and it felt great. And I was like, you know what? Against possibly my better judgment, I said, yeah, just take it all off, because let's not mess around here. Just take all that stinking lacquer off. It'll play great. There'll be no stickiness here on the fretboard or on the back. So that was the deal. It was his idea. Let's do it. So I wound up leaving, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, man, I really don't want all the lacquer taken off, because part of that, what I like, is that I like that look I was telling you about, how it, like, you see the finger, how it's rubbed off in there on the fretboard. You see like the finger wear inside there, and you know the look of the shaved neck, and you see that it comes to a point right here where they stop. But I was like, you know what? It's too late. I already told him. It's probably better off. And weeks went by, months went by, and I still thought, wow, he hasn't gotten to it yet. Maybe I should tell him before he does it. Just sand the neck. Don't file down the fretboard. I was like, it's probably too late. So I go in there on Monday to pick up the guitar, and I grab and I look at it, and I'm playing it, and I'm just so excited because I haven't had this in so long, and I just wanted to play it. It was just crazy, like, impulse that I had to just play it, right? So I'm grabbing the guitar, I'm playing, and I'm not even thinking that he didn't really shave all of the stuff off. I'm just playing it and feeling it, and I'm like, it's not quite what I expected. It's great, but it's not quite what I expected. I expected it all shaved off. And then I tell him, I'm like, hey, it's great, but it's not really what I expected. I thought, you're going to shave all the finish off the fretboard and all of it off the back. And he's like, no, that's not what we said. We said that we would just sand down the back, put the jumbo frets on, and, leave the top alone. And I was like, no, it was your idea. You said, hey, while the frets are off, that's a good time to, you can actually shave the whole fretboard that way. But what happened was there was a miscommunication, and it never made it onto the receipt that way. So he didn't really know about it, and he didn't do it. And he was like a little scared that I'd be a little upset because it's a big job to have to redo all that. And I was like, you know what? It's okay, because that's exactly what I wanted anyway. I was thinking that I wanted to just leave the lacquer on the fretboard so I could put my own. It might take 100 years to do it, to dig into those to this fretboard, put the fret wear on there, and the back of the neck's not completely shaved off, so it's really natural feeling. It's closer to the vintage look that I wanted, because they don't have completely shaved necks on there. It's just shaved off the back. It's a finger worn, naturally worn on the fretboard, and most of all, the frets are jumbo and they play really easy. So that is the story. That's the crazy story, and it's really, really, really cool how, like, he didn't do it, and I would have been happy either way, but I'm ecstatic now that it's a Tele that it's the perfect Tele for me now. But can it play Castles Made of Sand? Oh, I don't know if it could play Castles Made of Sand. I didn't really know too much Jimi Hendrix, or it's like or is it here? Just a little bit of that. But I'm happy with it. Loving the guitar. Very, very sweet. And Inca Cow 71. Give you a round of applause. Give everybody a round of applause here for tuning in to see my Tele that I'm just in love with. So I'm still getting used to it. It's a totally different feel that I'm used to as well. Christopher Eden, hello, good to see you. Yep, just take care of the shine. Yep, just take the shine off. We do that with canoe paddles. Oh, okay. So you take the shine off of the canoe paddles. Okay, I can understand that if you like to canoe around, which is cool. Scott Hall, I've been looking at new guitars recently. I kind of want that Jimmy signature Strat to do something like that. It's a very nice Tele. Cherry. So it's a cherry color? Or are you telling that to me? Jimmy signature Strat. I never heard of that one. I'm sure they're out there. And very nice. Oh, thank you. It's a very nice Tele, Cherry. That's what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out, that Jimmy signature Strat. It's got to be great. I mean, you know. And unequivocally, yes. And it sounds amazing. Thank you, Scott Hall. Very, very cool. Great tone. Thank you, Dana. Lehtinen. All right. Thank you for that great tone. Well, you know, I do like the tone. It's with the new frets. Love it. Really, really can't stop playing it. And enjoying this guitar here. Can't find my mouse thing. Okay. So, very cool. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. So let me give you a little more details about this thing and what I like about it here. It's like, why did I put on these frets? Well, the other ones were too short. I mean, it was just harder to play. Essentially, it was just, they were really, really low. And I'll put a little closer look. Maybe you could see how sweet this thing is up close. The frets were really, really low. They were hard to bend. With these jumbo frets, little gain on it. Just got on my pedal just now, the hot tone blues pedal. A little delay on it too. Loving it. I told you I can't stop playing it. It's crazy. Thank you, Christopher. That was nice. Very, very kind of you. So, yeah, it's just a lot easier to play. The bending of the strings are just so much easier. It's like you take a regular position right here. Take this to bend to the A. It's just really easy to bend. Half step bends. Whole step bends. I find the intonation to be a little bit better on this thing too, with the new frets. So here's a D chord right here. Here's a full D up here with the... A lot of times that's hard to get in tune correctly. A chord. You ever try to play a full A chord like this and it just sounds terrible? Well, here you go. It's not so bad. E chord. You know, a lot of times with you can't really get an E chord and then a G like this to be really close in tune. But this is pretty good, pretty close. With the G and the E. You have to have some kind of compromise there with the tuning. Right there. Let me go up a little. Let's try this. Let's try the tuner. I usually have to go up a little sharp on here. That sounds pretty good though. It's normal. Bowie, thanks for the Bowie. Well, it's like a. Here we go. Let's see. I don't want to play too much of it because I'll get a copyright claim on there, right? But I do have a video on Ziggy Stardust where I actually sing it and play it and teach it. So yeah, the intonation is probably a little bit better on here because of the frets. What's cool about that is you could, because the frets are so high, you could actually press in a little bit and get, you know, a little nice vibrato thing going. Even with the chords. Nice. You just got to be real careful with the touch, not to press in too much, because the frets are high and they'll go a little flat as you press them, or sharp as you press them in too much. Just got to have a light touch, really light touch on them. Let the notes ring out. And of course, the sanded neck really helps a lot, because especially when it's humid. If you're doing a gig and you're outside and it's humid out, man, it's like you really need that finger ease stuff. Spray that on there. Just spray it. Don't even put it on a rag. Just spray it right on the fretboard. I have some right over there. When it's real humid out, I'll spray. I just sound Canadian. It's out, and you just spray that fretboard. And then, man, you'll be sliding all over the place. You'll hit like plenty of bad notes because you're like try to bend here and you'll wind up bending way up there. So it's pretty funny. Yeah. So any questions about the guitar? You know, let me know. What are you drinking out there? I got this coffee. I got like one sip left. It's so depressing. I made my own coffee and it's really good. So it's like it's pretty good when it's your own and it's good to the last drop. I actually have one little baby sip in there left. I'll save that. I'm really nursing that coffee, right? So, not like nursing a beer. Which would be like a little bit nicer. So, check this out. I'm going to show you some more specs. But first, check it out. I got this blues progression here. Just going to play a little bit on this, see how it feels. See, it's just so easy to play this guitar because it bends. All the bends are just super easy, all over the neck. There's really no restraint here. You know, I'm just grabbing onto the note. And it's so, it just slides right up. There's no like catching. I mean, yeah, you could do that on smaller frets, but for some reason, it's just easier to play I don't know the physics behind it, but loving it. More than McDonald's. I'm loving it. Slippery fingers, Christopher Eden. California dream. On such a winter's day. It's so true. It's brutally cold out. I don't know what the temperature is. It gives me temperatures in Cupertino. Cupertino, I haven't set it up yet. It's 56 in Cupertino on this computer. On my other computer, I'll tell you. I have two computers. Supercomputer. Here it is in Brooklyn, New York. 43 degrees. I am now officially the weatherman. Finny sounds cherry. Awesome. I don't know who it was who said, don't ever put a red pickguard on here. Like out of the blue. I wasn't even playing. I think they saw it in the back. They're like, hey, on that Tele, don't ever put a red pickguard on there. Maybe it was one of you out there said that. And I never even thought for a second to put a red pickguard on here. It was just like, no, I definitely won't put a red. And now I'm thinking about it. No, this came with this. I'm real happy with it. So let's check this out. Look, here's the big screen right here. No, here's the big screen. I showed you some of the specs on here already. It's ash body, blonde lacquer finish. So it is a blonde, the guitar. It's a little slightly different than the traditional looking blonde. 3 saddle vintage, which makes it a little tricky when you're intonating it, because it only has 3 saddles here, unlike 6 saddles that most guitars have for 6 strings. So if you wanted to adjust the intonation for one of the strings, you're actually adjusting them for both because it has only 3 saddles. So your adjustment for this E is going to be on here on both, the E and the B, or the G and the D, or the E and the A, which seems to work good. A lot of people will replace these and put 6 on there, so you have a, more of an accurate intonation setup. But so far I haven't had any problem with that. And so these pickups right here. Let's talk about these pickups for a little bit. The pickups are really, it's true single coils. Here's the bridge. The neck pickup. Really nice sound. Really nice pocket. Get into the middle, and you got. So you got a little country twang on that with this middle pickup, for sure. Oops. Now this pickup, bridge pickup, very bright. That's actually why I bought this guitar with the single coils, because I was trying to get a bright sound, even though it's really annoying a lot of the times. But when you can't get it, I was playing my Strat with the hum canceling pickups, and part of the way that they get them to sound noiseless like that is they cut out a lot of the high end, the natural high end that pickups normally have. So single coils will have a generally more bright high end top end. So this and Teles have more high end too on them. So it's like, I'll try not to blow your ears off here. You know? You know? It might be too bright, but man, there's no lacking in the bright department. You know? My Strat could never get that bright. Never. You know. So it's got a really, really bright sound that I love in there. Those are the pickups in there. And so it's got that wiring. I think what that wiring does is it makes it more like the original Broadcaster. It's a real low output type of sound that they used to get back then. And I did another video on this. I'll put it in the description where when I first got the guitar, I did a whole review on it, pretty much talking about the same stuff. But let's just see if anything else here real quick. And it's got a fat neck, fat radius neck, which I really wanted. Which is really interesting about that is like, you know, I mean, I have big hands right here, right? So a fat neck is really like nothing for if you have huge hands, right? But, you know, you always hear people talking about fat, chunky baseball type necks. And I think, you know, it sounds good, you know, until you actually play one, you know, and it's like, well, maybe a thinner neck is better for you. But the fat necks generally, I think, have a lot of tone to them. There's a lot of wood here, so the wood has a lot more resonation. You know, so I noticed this guitar is definitely bright. So it's very bright and natural anyway. Compared to my Strat, where it's like you pick that up and the neck is very thin compared to that. And it's a lot duller sounding, especially acoustically, like if I wasn't plugged in. Just a completely different sound, which is the reason why you want lots of different guitars, because every guitar just sounds different. You know, if I plugged in my Strat, you'd hear it's just a duller sounding guitar. It's not a bad dull, but maybe less of the high, and you know, even on the top bridge pickup right here, it just give you a lot less high end, a little bit more of the a little more mid-rangey, a little more bite to the mid-range section. And so yeah, pretty cool. I'm really ecstatic about the Tele being back in the arsenal. and pretty cool. Any questions about this stuff, let me know. Having some fun here with the Tele. I went over some of the specs and gave you a little story on that. Hopefully you're digging it. And it's just easier to play. Having a good time. I think I'm going to take this on the road with me. I have one show with the ABBA tribute that I'm playing in called SOS, direct from Sweden, the music of ABBA. We have a show in Baton Rouge on March 6th. It's just a one-off show, so I'm going to bring it. And see, the one tricky thing about these two with single coils, if you go to a place that has some weird electric, not really steady, maybe some ground hums in there, some problems, or just crazy lighting can even happen, is that you might get like a little more hum on the 60 cycle hum on the single coils. So for clean, you don't notice it as much. Let me know if you're hearing any kind of hum there. Check it out. Here's my volumes up. Volumes down. This is on a clean sound. So if I had a little bit of distortion on here like this, it's like The Who. Listen. Hear that hum? Okay, it's okay because when the volume's off, you don't hear it. That's a good sign because that means it's not bad electric. If you're at a gig and you hear that, it's one thing because you have single coil pickups. That's a 60 cycle hum. But if you turn the volume down, it should be gone. If you're at a gig and it's still there, then that's a problem with the electric right there. You get the hums coming from somewhere else then. So it's a good sign when it goes away when the volume's off. So go back on, it's there. So that's the in-between. If I was on full-on gain, now this isn't my pedal board for live, but it's essentially the same type of thing. You get clean, you got a medium sound, then you got like a dirty sound, full-on dirty sound, right? Right now this dirty sound is just my blues driver. Volume's down. I'm getting like a little bit of a crispy, it could be like a cable doing something, Who knows what that is? But anyway, volume's down. That's more of a crunchy. That's the gain, full on gain. But if this is all the way up and I wasn't playing, you hear that hum. 60 cycle hum. So I don't know how that'll do playing live, with the gig. get that 60 cycle hum. So as long as I can manage it with the volume knob. A lot of times I grab these notes and not used to the frets. Anyway, going off the rails because I love the guitar. Really cool. Hopefully you're digging it too. Stoned and Gone. I could play a little bit of that if I remember it. Something like that. Haven't played that in a while, but that's for you because you keep mentioning it. So, having a good time here, rocking out, and we're gonna wrap it up here soon. But check this out. I got one more. I got another graph here actually. Cut this one off. A couple of graphs here. That is a diagram of the frets that I have. 57, 110 frets. If we look at that, that's the height of it. What is it? 0.57 something. I guess that's inches. 0.57 inches. Makes sense. Of the fretboard. And then look, and then it goes into the neck. It goes into all the specs of how far in they go. The width of the fret, so it's 0.110 width. I guess that's what the number means. Okay. All right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So if they're 57 110s, that means that they're 57 high, and 110 represents the width number right there. So that's what it is, 57 110s. Okay, fret wire, 57 110s. And I was told that they're slightly higher than the 6100s, which is a typical fret wire jumbo fret. 6100s. So these are slightly, I'm a tech nerd. I love that stuff. All right, very cool. So I got this diagram, and I yanked this out of the system here. You know, anyone can go to the website and check that out. The C.A.G.E.D website, and you could look up all kinds of fret wire. That's what I have on here on this guitar. These 57 110s. A common number is 6100s that people put on. I believe this is like a better brand, you know, of the wire. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool graph right there. And also, we have here A little bit more information on this. So it's 57-110, crown size, width, and height, just like it says, what it represented on the last graph. 110 on the width, and then 0.057 on the height right there. And I believe that has to be of an inch, right? Or, yeah, millimeters, 1.45 millimeters is what that is, 2.79 by 1.45 millimeters. Okay. And then there's a tang width. I have no idea what that means right there. Tang width. I mean, I remember the drink Tang, you know. I was never a huge, big fan of that. Then alloy. I guess NS18 alloy, which is another interesting question. You know, it brings up, people like to get stainless steel frets. I wasn't really thinking about stainless steel, the option, when I had the fret job on this. And I just went with, and as a matter of fact, Matt, the guy over at 30th Street Guitars on 27th Street, he doesn't like stainless steel. Even talking with him, he was like, just regular. So I guess they're alloy frets, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it says, right? It's an alloy on the frets, so that is probably right. Then that's what it says. So rather than stainless steel, see, stainless steel frets are take a lot more abuse. They never wear. Apparently, you can't really ding them up. They'll last forever. People say they don't like the sound. There's a difference of sound in there. If you could really dial in to hearing that, some people don't even notice. I probably wouldn't even notice. But I went with the more traditional alloy frets. And, of course, now it's going to wear eventually. I mean, the honeymoon will be over at some point, and these frets are going to get a little dinged because I'm playing it so much now. But they're real smooth. But after a while, you're going to start getting some dings in there. I'm going to have to get them dressed and, you know, maybe after a while I'll have to replace these. I don't know. But hey, that's just the way life is, right? But really, really enjoying how smooth they are. You know? Really loving it. Jeffrey Boyle has got the answers. All the answers. Tang is the part of the fret that holds the fretboard. Tang is the part of the fret that holds the fretboard. Okay. The tang, that makes a lot of sense. It's a part of the fret that holds the fretboard. So I mean, it's the part that holds it into the fretboard. That makes a lot of sense. Sounds good out there. All right, Christopher Eaton. Really, really cool. Going off on the deep end because I'm just loving this guitar, and it's good to have a guitar where you just love and you can't put it down. I literally haven't really put this down since I picked it up on Monday. And here it is, Sunday? So I went over these specs, a couple different things, and hopefully you enjoy that. And having a good time here. Having a good time with this new Telecaster. Actually, it's a Broadcaster. Broadcasting to you from Brooklyn, New York. And I stole that from Guthrie Trapp, who's an amazing Nashville guitar player. Watch his channel. If you haven't watched any of Guthrie Trapp's stuff, check him out. Guthrie Trapp on YouTube. Amazing country-style guitar player. Seen him once here in New York at the bitter end. And I'm a big fan of him and his guitar tutorials and lessons. Actually, I get some of my ideas, too, from him, so you might want to check that out as well. So I went over some of the specs here. Everything's cool. Everything's good. Hopefully you like this, my Tele. And I'm going to bring it on the road with me for a gig. And I think I'm going to be real happy with it because it feels really good. it's takes a little getting used to. I think the first day I got it, my fingers were like bleeding from playing it so much. But you feel a lot of the frets, which is pretty different than a lower fretted guitar, where you feel more the wood of the neck. You almost don't even feel the wood. You're just all on steel here, and I'm not saying it's sharp, but if you go down here like this, and your fingers are a little sensitive, it could hurt a little bit. But once you get some of those calluses built up, then it's like nothing. It handles some crunch too. Really, really cool. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Scott Olson. Sounds great too. Probably the last set of frets you will have on your Broadcaster. I don't know about that, Scott. Probably the last set. They're not stainless steel, like I was saying, so they're gonna wear. With any luck, it'll be the last set of frets. I guess you're right. You're probably right because, like I said, they're high. They are high, and when I pick up my Les Paul, those are jumbo frets, but they're not as big as this. So they're like a medium jumbo, and they're cool. So if I wear these down a little bit, and I get them dressed, and they're smooth, but they're maybe a little bit lower over time, I could see myself, like you said, I could see myself just being happy with these frets, even if they're a little bit lower and they get lower over the years as you dress them. And, so it could take a while. Hopefully it'll take a while because it was pretty expensive to do this. We didn't talk about price, and I think I got a deal on it, so I'm not going to really get into this. A normal fret job, I've gotten quotes of $800 plus for a fret job. I think, wow, that's a lot of money, $800 for new frets, installed, everything, and that's without the sanding of the neck. I didn't pay that much. I did get a deal on it because I'm a nice guy. But so prepare yourself to pay $600 to $800, whatever, for a fret job. So I don't want to have to do that anytime soon again. So you're right about that. But it was well worth it because now I have what I consider is the perfect Tele for me. It just plays great, feels really good. I'm not struggling at all, and I'm really, really, really happy. The guitar is just a great guitar. It looks good, has a classic Tele sound. It's got that 50s fat neck on it, and shaved neck now, jumbo frets. So it's right, just like you get it. I don't even know if they sell these anymore, these Broadcasters. I think they only made like, I don't know, a couple hundred. I'm probably wrong. But no, actually, how many did they make? 2,000. I think they made 2,020. If I'm not wrong, they made 2,020 for these because that's the year it came out, 2020. It's the 70th anniversary Fender Broadcaster. So it's a reissue of a 1950 Broadcaster, which is the original Telecaster, because when they first came out, they were called Broadcasters, just like this. And then another company, I think it was Gretsch, who had a drum set called a Broadcaster. So they were going to sue Fender. So Fender already had like a bunch of necks and a bunch of guitars, so they wound up scraping off the Broadcaster and calling it a no-caster. And that went on for maybe a couple years. If you have one of those original ones, probably worth a lot of money. And then they came up with the idea of Telecaster, maybe in 52, 53. And I put Telecaster. So this is a reissue of the first ever Fender Broadcaster, which became a Telecaster. So I think for that special year in 2020, it came out during the pandemic. I bought it, I think, in 21, like I was saying. So I think it's a 21. I got to check the specs on it again. I think it's a 2021 guitar. So they made only a limited run, I think 2020 of them because of the year, 70th anniversary year. And this is one of 2020. But it's really like the perfect Tele to me because it has that perfect neck on it now. And now I finally have the guitar of my dreams. And you should have a Strat, a Tele, a Les Paul, and an SG, and maybe something else, for fun, like maybe an Ibanez Destroyer or a Flying V or some other cool type of guitar. Actually, the next guitar of my dreams that I want to get is a Gibson double cutaway special. So a Gibson special, that means two P90s in it, like that double cutaway Gibson Les Paul cutaway. Oh man, those P90s sound sweet, which I didn't really get into. I was never really a single coil guy because the hum would just drive me crazy. But once you start getting used to once you get used to just playing it, there's a sound there that's a little different than humbuckers. Humbuckers are a little more compressed, squeezed in the tone. It's a little more open sounding. I'm still getting used to it because I'm not really a single coil person, but I'm starting to appreciate what's actually happening rather than the extra noise that it just gives out. As long as the sound is louder than the hum, I guess we're good. So, yeah. I keep referring back to these Beato models. He does. That is the guitar. It's the special, the Rick Beato model. I really, really love Rick Beato. I just don't know if I want his name on my guitar yet. No knocking Rick Beato yet. The guy's really great, and I love his channel. But I don't know. I'm weird like that. So I love his model guitar. I just would prefer to have a Gibson not the signature version of Rick Beato. That sounds stupid. I don't really care about that. If the guitar is great, who cares his name? I have total respect for Rick Beato. I do love his channel and what he brings to the world of music. Scott, I agree. The frets on this Tele will last. Yeah, well, I hope so. You need to design the Cherry model then. I love that. That's a great idea. Listening to you today, it seems like you adjusted to it instantly. Yeah. And I'm getting used to it. I'm totally getting used to it. And let's see, who's this? John Connolly. You listening? I don't know John Connolly. It is, but you know, and yeah, so cool. So I think we'll wrap it up here today. Thanks for spending the time here with me today. Really, really appreciate it. Scott Olson, Christopher, and Jeffrey, and everyone who popped in here today. Finney and Ashu, California Dreamin', and Roberts and Dana. Oh, I didn't even see this question here from Dana. Did Dana, a comment, not a question. Did it take you long to adjust to the jumbo frets? My fingers got stuck on them, just like hitting railroad tracks. Too much pressure, I suppose. That's what I was kind of talking about before. I got used to it pretty quick. I mean, a few of my guitars have bigger frets, but these are jumbo. And at first I was like, wow, they're really, I wouldn't say sharp, but you're on the railroad tracks here more than you are wood. And I think after a while you'll start digging in and you'll start feeling it. And the benefits, outweigh the problems of them just feeling a little weird at first. But really getting used to it, What song is that? Yeah, so good question. Took me just 2 minutes to really adjust to it, or maybe a day or two, but I'm right on it. I mean, and thank you, Scott, Christopher, and Dana, everybody for popping in. Inca, all you guys, love you. So much fun here. Tele sounds awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you, Dana. Really happy you guys popped in to watch this silly video of me showing off my frets, but I thought it was a good idea. For anyone out there thinking about getting their guitar refretted, I think it's a good idea. If you have super small little frets on it and you think it would be more comfortable, go to a music store and check out some guitars with higher frets and just see if it feels nicer to you. In my opinion, this thing is like perfect now. So it went from like a $2,000 guitar, which is expensive, to being as good as a $4,000, $5,000 guitar, in my opinion. Like the only difference between this and a real 50s that had a fret job on it already with jumbo frets and shaved neck, because, it's been around for 50 years plus, people have done some work to it, and they're $5,000. There's no difference to me. I put $2,600 now, or I didn't pay something like that into this guitar. I think I just gave away what I paid for the frets. But yeah, so it's a nice little investment in there, but I'll have this for the rest of my life. This guitar ain't going anywhere, and I'll have some happy years playing it too. Tele's. So got me to pick up one of my telescope today. Oh, got me to pick up one of my telescopes today. Oh, very, very cool. Tele's. There you go. Right on. Yeah, feel it out. Play that Tele. Play some twang. Some country twang, right? Like a... Let's see, I play that one. It's the Albert Lelik. All right, thanks for hanging out. I love you guys. Remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see that video that I made on this guitar with all the details of my Broadcaster, I'll put that right up to you. And keep twanging. Love yous. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, y'all. Yeah.